Well, good evening, everyone. It is 7:59, so I thought I would just come on here early and say hello to everyone who is really on time. Congratulations. Thank you so much for being here. I know there has been so many online events lately, and it must be getting a little bit tedious for you to continue to look at your screen and so forth. So I really appreciate you being here, and I appreciate that you are interested in hitting the streets and figuring out how you can make a difference in the upcoming election. Because I tell you what, my feeling is that we are going to make a huge impact. And part of our power is that they underestimate us. They underestimate the so-called freedom movement, and they underestimate the everyday, hardworking, fair income Australians that are actually willing to sacrifice their time, energy, effort. They're willing to get a few grey hairs, lose a few hairs, get a few wrinkles to try and put good people into Parliament. And that's what it's all about. Now, we wouldn't be bothering to do this if we didn't have a chance. And by the end of this session tonight, you are going to see exactly how much of a chance we actually have. Now, you can see on the screen here, I've got your vote impacts your family's future, because that is absolutely the truth. It does. And never before have Australians really understood the value of their vote, which is why the Australian Electoral Commission had the biggest single day in history of enrolments on Monday. The closing time was 8 p.m. and they have never, ever had so many enrolments straight up to the deadline. And there are, according to them, 96% of all voting population has enrolled to vote. Now, people might think that could mean a few things, but what I think that means is that people who never cared about politics before and thought that their vote didn't matter finally realize after the last 2 years how important their vote is. And so these are new people that have maybe never voted before and just paid the fine who are now willing to vote. And these are the people that we can get to. So that was a bit of a rant to welcome everyone in. It's 8:01. If anyone here has been in my Zooms before, I like to be very straight to the point, so that I don't waste anyone's time. Our time and effort is extremely valuable. So I'm just going to tell you exactly what we're going to. Now, I'm wearing my glasses tonight and you can see the lights in the reflection of my glasses, but who cares? I've got to be able to read to be able to do this presentation. So I'm wearing my glasses and I hope the light doesn't distract you. Anyway, what I'm going to go through tonight is how to volunteer for the upcoming election, whether it be for a party, for a candidate, or for the general sort of message of putting the majors last, whether you want to join a group or you prefer to work solo or just with one or two of your friends. We have everything covered. Even if you don't have the time to hit the streets or you don't have the personality to talk to people one-on-one, there is absolutely something for you, I promise, and you will find out. No matter how little or how much you participate, it's going to make a huge difference collectively. I'm going to talk to you about creating your own Facebook page and Instagram and so forth, but I'm going to do that after I talk about the volunteering, because not everyone is going to be interested in that. And if you're not, then you're welcome to leave after that point. I'm going to talk about how we can spread our message far and wide, whether it be via social media or just using this, our mouth and our brain and our feet. Now, I'm just going to go through a few housekeeping and then I'm going to get straight to it, guys. I will do a bit of Q&A, but it will be at the end. So if you do have questions, I suggest you hold on to them, write them down, and at the end, I'll just open the discussion and I will answer questions at the end. But I'm doing this all on my own, so it's impossible for me to manage the questions. So please leave your questions till the end, and I'll spend at least 10 or 15 minutes going through questions there. There will be a replay. This is actually playing live on YouTube as well. And so there will be a replay for those people who couldn't come tonight. Yes, there will be trolls in this, but I don't care because we're actually not doing anything wrong. And, you know, maybe they can learn a thing or two from our passion and you know, our genuine purpose. So I don't really care, but I'm just letting you know that is the case. So if you are in the live YouTube and there's some chat there, just just don't encourage them, just ignore them. That's the best way. That's how I have survived the last 2 years. Don't give them any airtime because that's what they want. They just want your time and attention. So you don't give it to them, right? Anyway, so that's the housekeeping. Now, coming up next week, well, I've paid for a 1 month subscription for webinars, so I'm going to make the most of it. Next week, we're going to do a Q&A with an ex-politician and a campaign strategist, and it's going to be Q&A for voting for dummies, okay? Because we're still getting some interesting questions into our inboxes like, can I vote for a Senate candidate in Victoria if I'm in WA? Well, the answer is no, but it just goes to show that there are still some people out there that don't quite understand things. So I'm going to hold that webinar next week. So that's that. I'll also be running some in-person info sessions around Victoria myself, especially for youth groups, teaching them how to make their vote count, making sure that they number every box in the lower house and explain the upper house as well. I'm going to record that and I'll have it available online. But also, if you would like to invite me to an event that you are already having, at least if there's 20 or 30 people, that would be great. But if you have a church community, a sports community, a family community, whatever it is, I would be happy to come and do a little speech for you guys. And it is completely non-partisan. It's all about making your vote count, especially for the youth who haven't voted before and didn't realize how important their vote was. So if you want to do that, I will make sure that you have the contact address where you can request that I come to that. I will send a follow-up email to everyone here that has registered, and I will have all the links for everything that I'm talking about right now. Again, if you've been in any of my Zooms, you would know that I do that very diligently. It's really important to follow through with what you say. Now, before I get into things, which is going to be right now, actually, I just want to say, I don't know how many of you are already volunteering or whether you're just looking at volunteering now, but I don't know if you guys realize how hard the RDA volunteer groups are working right now. I'm telling you, for some state coordinators, it has become a full-time job. And I want to say to those people that, trust me, karma works in both ways, and you are going to have so much good karma. It will come back to you. And I hope that you feel as satisfied as I do when I put myself out there. And when we see some changes in Parliament, you're going to know that your efforts really counted. And you know, all the parties, One Nation, UAP, LDP, Independents, and so forth, they're actually, a lot of them are counting on RDA community groups and volunteer groups to actually help them. And you are doing such a great service to all of these parties and to this country. And whether you get a pat on the back or recognition for that is besides the point. You will know that you have done such a great job. And I am so pleased to see such genuine and beautiful people getting involved. It warms my heart, and I'm really proud of every single one of you. And I'm proud of every single person on this call because you're here instead of watching Netflix, right? So I understand the sacrifice that you're making being here tonight. So I am going to get into it. And I just want to say before I get started, just as a bit of a, you know, I'm obviously running as Morgan's #2 Senate candidate, and we were officially nominated today. So that's pretty exciting. But I do want to say that me running as Morgan's #2 does not affect the Make Your Vote Count at all. We're only in Victoria. Make Your Vote Count is Australia-wide, and it's still non-partisan, and no one's forcing anyone to endorse anyone or volunteer for anyone at all. So, you know, I just wanted to make that clear. All right, we're going to get into it. Okay. Now, as I said at the start of the call, and by the way, I'm going to be referring to my notes and I'm going to be clicking on the screen because I'm going to be having to show you guys stuff. As I said, never before have so many people been registered to vote. And I think that that's a really good sign. Never before have people cared. Never before have we had so many great candidates to choose from. And never before have we had such organized volunteer networks and resources that people don't actually have to do their own research anymore. They can count on people who have already done it. So first thing I'm going to show you is how you can get involved however you like. So I'm just going to share my screen for you guys and I'm going to start. So this is the RDA homepage, okay? And I should like to get rid of that. Anyway, this is the RDA homepage. Okay, so the Make Your Vote Count campaign is basically highlighted everywhere now. It's really all we're doing. So I'll just go through this really quickly. If you go to voting tips, it'll take you to this page here, which is where you can see all the different candidates in your electorate that have filled out the RDA survey. Now that the RDA survey is live, we're getting a lot more people filling it out. And this is what a profile looks like. It's supposed to have a picture there, sorry. But yeah, you can see there, you can really learn a lot about the candidate. So that's just one element of what we've done there. And, you know, if you know a candidate that hasn't filled it in, you can actually ask them to fill it in. You click here, are you a candidate? It opens up the survey that they can fill in. It explains why we're doing it and what it's all about there. And you can even read the survey before you send it on by clicking on this PDF here. But really, this is the main page for the Make Your Vote Count, right? So there's some information in here, but most of you watching this will probably already know this information. I probably need to get rid of that one. Make sure you're registered to vote this year because that has closed now. But this is really where the magic is happening, okay? It's called the Volunteer Hub. So this Volunteer Hub is so resourceful that you don't actually need anyone to help you. You can do it yourself. Now, if you want to join a team, you click Join a Team. It takes you to here. Now, I wanted to tell you as well that when you fill in this, if you want to join a group, if you fill this in, you will actually get sent an automated email, which has all the details for you to connect to a group. So there is a specific email address for each state. So you will get an automated email once you fill in this form, and you will get an email address for your state. And if you email them directly, you are definitely going to get in touch with a group as soon as possible. The automated email is so in depth that if you want to join a group, there's really no excuse. There's plenty of ways to join a group. And if your electorate does not have a team leader, then we have a big group on Facebook and on Telegram where I'm actually communicating with you directly in there. So no matter how you want to do it, there's a way for you to do it. All right. So so communication. Now with the groups, and I'll just stop sharing for a second. With the groups, there's different ways of communicating. Every group works autonomously. So some might have a Signal group, some might just do email, some will be having multiple Zooms, some won't. But at the end of the day, what I'm showing you tonight is that you don't need a group, but you can have a group if you want. And I think that's really important because we really only have a month left now. If you want to get involved, you can just do it yourself. And I think that's really, really important to share with you guys. So talking about doing it yourself, here you go. So flyers that you can download yourself. So we've got really all types here for you guys. Now, these black and white ones here, they are double-sided and you can cut them down the middle. You can print these from home. You can print them at Officeworks or anything you like. You can get them professionally printed if you like as well. We've just got these new ones here, which I do want to show you. So I will. These are brand new. We only released them today, and they're just really great. So I won't go through it too much, but it really explains how to put the major parties last. And it's really great. It's really great for people who don't know anything. So I think these flyers are really good for the streets, but I'll go through that in just a second. There's also flyers that are 4 to a page. So you can print and then cut them into 4. So if you have one of those guillotines, that will be really easy. These colored ones, you can get printed professionally, or you can get them printed at Officeworks. Anything like that is fine. So that's flyers you can print yourself. If you know a federal candidate, send them here. That is the survey that I just explained to you. Hit the streets. Well, if you hit the streets, you're going to want some sort of flyers. So choose the flyer which resonates with you and get it done. Printing is pretty cheap, guys. And we hit the streets. We hit Flinders Street recently, which is, if you're not in Melbourne, the biggest train station in Melbourne. And really, it's probably the toughest crowd you can get. We had a huge success there. You can you can listen to the recording, which is how I approached people with the flyers. Now, I am a natural. I've been a salesperson my whole career. So obviously walking up to people with a flyer isn't that hard for me, but I will tell you that there were people that it was not their personality to do this at all, but they did so well, because once you do one or two, it just gets easier. And let's be honest, guys, the worst thing they could do is swear at you and keep walking. Like, it's not the end of the world. It makes you stronger. It gives you a thicker skin. Trust me, I actually did get, I had about an 80% success rate with this at Flinders Street, but I got threatened as well, because, I spoke to 100 people and one person threatened me. Big deal, right? So there's some information on that. You can encourage your friends to volunteer with you. I mean, that just takes you to the same survey, the same sign up thing that I told you about. Now, this is part of the social media campaign that we're doing. So you can go here, and there's some tiles here that you can download. I absolutely love this one. When you download this and post it onto Facebook, the arrow actually goes straight to where the likes and shares are. None of these people will be voting for the major parties at the federal election, and then it just points downwards to all the likes. And I post that on Instagram, and it's going pretty crazy. So I'm going to add to this as the campaign goes, obviously. But, I'm going to talk about this a little bit later on. But, I think if we're all sharing the same messages on all of our personal pages and bigger pages as well, we're really going to cut through the censorship, and it's going to have a huge impact, I think. So now you guys might have seen that we've been having events all over the place. And again, congratulations to all the RDA activators and other people doing this. But here's a guide on how you can do it, the meet the candidate sort of events that we've been having. Now, if you have one of these events, then RDA will support you by promoting the event, sending an email to your area. And there hasn't been a flop ever since we started this. In fact, none of our events are flops at all. It's really incredible. So yes, we will help you with that. And again, you have registered your email for this webinar. So I'm going to send you an email following up from this, and you can just email us. My whole admin team is working working around the clock to answer emails and things like that. So if you do want to book an event, we can absolutely support you. Just email and ask. Okay. Now this is really a cool thing. So I've, with a like-minded printer in Melbourne here, we've made pretty good deal on printing. So you can actually order through the RDA website, but it goes straight directly to the printer, and it gets delivered straight to your house. Now, I think this fly here is probably going to be the most popular one from now on, because it really is quite amazing. And the person who made this for me for free, if you're watching, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. And so does Australia, and so does everyone else watching. So you've got the first page here, and then you've got the second page here. So you can actually choose the amount, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000. You order it through here, and we order it straight from the printer for you and get it delivered straight away. So there's really just like so many options for you to get involved that are, whether you've got one or two friends or you're on your own with your kids, you can get involved. So that's good. Go through. I'm just going to check my notes, making sure I'm not missing anything. Oh yeah. So, all right, I'm going to stop sharing for a second. So now, even if you don't want to do any of these things that I've just explained, let's say that you don't have any time at all, that's okay. Just talk to your friends and family. Just tell them, put the idea in their head to put the majors last, or at least the idea to vote differently than they have in the past. Just start planting that seed, because over the next coming weeks, there's going to be so much propaganda and advertising material in everyone's letterboxes that they're going to get really bombarded. So if you can just start to have that conversation, that's going to be really good, because with the resources coming up, if you start the conversation, plant the seed, and then go, here you go, here's a how to vote card, it's going to be absolutely incredible. So if you can't volunteer at all, well, you probably wouldn't be on this call, but if you can't, at least choose 10 friends that you can get into their ear and start making them think. That would make a huge, huge difference as well. I do have this fun idea, and I don't know if anyone would do this. I would, but that's because like I'm a bit, I'm a bit out there. But if you don't have social media and you're not into all of that, how about every interaction you have from now until the election, whether it be at the grocery store, the post office, at work, with clients, whatever, just at the end of every conversation, just say, hey, put the majors last, and walk away. Or like in the shopping center, just whisper, put the majors last, put the majors last. It's like real life hashtagging, you know. We're so censored that we need to think outside the box. Today I spoke to 3 people, and 3 people are going to vote the majors last, just because that's 3 out of 3. So, and they were random people, by the way. So if we just do that for the next 4 weeks, no one can censor you on the streets. No one can censor you at the shopping center. So really what I'm trying to tell you is, doesn't matter what your personality is, doesn't matter how involved you want to get, there is something for you, and you are important, and everything you do matters. Everything everyone does matters, absolutely. So obviously you guys know about the Put Majors Last website. Now at the moment it is not, where's my share screen option? Oh, there it is. At the moment, I'm just going to show you quickly. At the moment, the Put Majors Last website is not functioning because, of course, all the nominations have not been finalized, but it is planning to go live on Friday with the information they have. But what you can do right now is you can log in your email here, so that when the website is live, you will be able to see everything. So if you don't already know, that website oh gosh, it's such a game changer. I won't go into it too much because everyone here has probably already seen it, but basically it takes the guesswork out of figuring out how you want to vote. It's going to be a huge tool for all the volunteers at the polling booths and so forth. You'll also be able to email all your friends. You'll be able to look at what their electorate is and print them a how to vote card. And if they trust you, they'll be so happy that you've done the research for them that they won't even question it probably. And obviously they have their own choices, right? You're their friend. You're not forcing them to do anything. You're just suggesting so that they don't have to do their own research. So imagine that half the voting population, instead of going to the election day and picking the first how to vote card they get, or the first person with a smile and a colored t-shirt and taking their how to vote card and just following it, they're already going to have their how to vote card before they get there. Now, I don't know the statistics, but most of the votes are won on election day. This year is going to be different because we are already going to know what we want to do before we get there. We do, but it's our job to tell other people as well. So that resource is going to be huge. And of course, just keep in touch on all of our websites, social media, etc., and you'll know exactly how to use that. Now, talking about that, I want to talk about pre-polling and polling day, because this is really important. So as you know, so we've hit the streets already with the flyers, and my pitch for the flyers was, I just had the flyer in my hand and I just went up to them and said, hey, are you voting in the federal election this year? Yeah. Oh, we don't work for a party, but we just think that maybe we should put the majors last. What do you think? Oh yeah, and I just give them the flyer. It was like super effective, and it was in Flinders Street. I've heard stories of people on the streets in suburban areas, and it's been even more effective. Like no one, like one person the whole day snuffed them. The rest of the people all wanted to talk about it. So hitting the streets is one thing, having events is another thing, but really, and letterbox dropping, of course, is great for some personalities who don't want to interact at all. We also should, and I don't have anything on the Volunteer Hub about this yet, but we really should be going to businesses as well. I'll just re-put this up. On the Volunteer Hub, these flyers here, you can obviously buy them at cost price, or you can print them yourself. But these are really designed for shop windows. Now, they're very non-confrontational. This one with the red is a little bit more confrontational, but hardly. So you might like this one better. But basically, you know, if we can get this poster in as many shop windows as possible, I think that'll be very, very effective. Also, we have bumper car stickers in the merchandise store as well. And I think, you know, if you just walked down the street and suggested for businesses to put these in their windows, I don't think they'll really be against that, because it's not party specific. You know, it's not even Reignite Democracy Australia, it's makeyourvotecount.com.au. So if anyone is a bit weirded out about RDA and about me going to prison or something, then you know that you won't have that issue. So you can buy these in bulk, or you could like I think you can buy a minimum of 20 of them. You can also buy these as core flutes as well, or like I said, print them yourself. That's fine as well. And so you can actually stand on the streets with a big core flute of that and just leave it in the corner. and people will walk up to it and they'll scan the QR code. Remember, people are predispositioned to scan QR codes. They see a QR code and they kind of like gravitate towards it. So if you have a big corflute with this on it and you just leave it on a bench somewhere and walk away, you don't even have to talk to people. They'll walk up and scan it, trust me. And then if you see them interested, then you can walk up to them and hand them a flyer as well if you want. But if they've seen the corflute, they'll probably just take a picture of it and keep walking. So there's so many ways to interact with people. Obviously with the flyers, you know, you can go to school pickup and distribute them there. You can go to businesses and encourage them to put this poster in the window, and also encourage them to put a pile of the flyers. If they're really passionate about them, they might even give you a gold coin donation for the poster. There's nothing wrong about asking for that. We have no money, and this is a grassroots movement. So if you can get a gold coin donation for a poster, if they're really passionate about this, then there's absolutely nothing to be ashamed of for asking for that. Oh yes, polling day. That's what I was talking about. So polling day and pre-poll. So we are going to schedule, and this isn't ready yet because all the polling locations aren't announced yet, but soon they will be. And RDA will have a scheduling system so that you can schedule in 4-hour blocks what location you can attend. We are going to pick the busiest locations and start there. And if we have lots of volunteers, then we can start going to the less busier ones. But the really important thing is to get the busiest one in every electorate if possible. And the great thing is the Make Your Vote Count campaign is nonpartisan. So when you approach someone and you say that you're not working for a party, firstly, they're going to be really shocked, like, why are you doing this? And then a huge barrier will actually just blow away because you're not trying to spin a specific message. Now, personally, you might have a specific message that you want to share, like who you're going to vote for or so forth. You know, with the PML How to Vote card, you can just show them the How to Vote card on your phone and say, so this is how I envision it. Now, obviously, I've never done this before and we haven't got the polling booths yet, but this is how I envision it. You're at the polling booth, you've got a lanyard on that just says Make Your Vote Count, which the volunteers are organizing. We are thinking about getting caps, but we're not sure. And you're just wearing normal clothes, you know, really non-confrontational, smile on your face, you know, and you just like, oh, hey, do you know how you're going to vote yet? And they might be like, oh, and then you're like, hey, I don't work for a party. I actually, you know, just want to make sure that your vote counts. And they'll be like, oh, well, what do you mean? I don't really know who I'm going to vote for. Oh, well, I reckon we should try something different. We should give other parties a chance because, you know, the last 2 years has been pretty miserable, and maybe we should give some other parties a chance, you know? And they're like, oh yeah, okay, maybe. Well, I mean, do you want to see how I'm going to vote? I've got it here on my phone. Yeah, okay. So you show them your phone and you say, well, you can take a picture of that and just go straight to the polling booth. They'll be so grateful that you've done the work for them that they'll just listen, right? Maybe, you know, look, I don't know how, I'm not there, but that's how I envision it. Everyone's going to do it differently, but the polling booths are really, really important. And you do not have to be a part of a group to go to the polling booth. I will be promoting the scheduling system, of course, and you can just go for it and you'll meet people there. I actually think that we're going to have like so many people at each polling booth. I think it's going to be crazy because people use it as a chance to connect with people as well. And I think that we're going to absolutely smash the polling booths, to be honest. So and now I'll just make sure, I don't think I've missed anything in the volunteering section. I think it really all makes sense. It would surely make sense to you guys what I've just gone through. But pretty much in conclusion of the volunteering side of things, the volunteer hub is really where it's at. All right. So there's a lot of people are like, oh, what do I do now? Or I want to join a group and I haven't heard. And I'm sorry if that's happened to you. But it's really hard to manage the privacy of everyone and still be able to connect them with groups and then protect us from the trolls. And it's a very tricky process administratively. So right now you have, and I say this nicely, you have no excuse to get involved. You don't need a group, but if you want a group, you've got an email address for your state and you absolutely join a group, but you don't need one. You can do it yourself. I know you've met 2 or 3 people at one of the protests or, you know, 2 or 3 friends. Just get together and smash it out. I'm telling you, 3 dedicated volunteers in one suburb can absolutely cover and blanket the entire suburb. And if you want to create groups around that, you can. Like, make this whatever you want. This is your journey. I'm just putting things together so that other people can use them. Okay. But I have no control over what you do. So just go for your life, guys. Like, what have you got to lose? We have 4 weeks to go, and there's never been so many people enrolled. People have never been so disenfranchised with the major parties. You've seen the news. They're not polling very well at all. So if we can just sway a couple of more % of the entire voting population, we could have a really great voting bloc, at least in the upper house, hopefully both houses, and we can have a hung parliament. Now, a hung parliament means that neither party has majority. Now, that would mean that the parliament, it would be hard for the parliament to pass any legislation, whether it's good or bad. But in my opinion, a parliament that can't pass anything is better than a parliament that can pass all this rubbish that they've been passing over the 2 years while we haven't been looking, because it is bad. I mean, we have the digital ID system coming up. Anyway, I don't need to tell you guys, you know all that. But the point is if you knew that we could make a huge impact in this election, what would you not be willing to do? You know, now keep in mind, everyone has their own lifestyles and their own family commitments and things like that, but you know what you're capable of, and you know the hours that you have. And I'm telling you, it feels good. How do you think I'm still standing here after 2 years after what I've been through? Why? Because it feels good to do something that you think is meaningful, at least at the time. It just feels good. It's tiring, but I'd rather be tired and feel hopeful and good than have tons of energy and feel like I'm wasting my time, you know? Anyway, that's enough pep talk from me. You guys are here. You obviously agree that we need to do something. So that's it for the volunteering side of things. I will send everyone an email with all the links that I've talked about. Now, in terms of volunteering, we also have a new program called Social Media Warriors. Now, I'm going to send you a link of that as well. This is part of the volunteer program, but it's also a little bit separate and a little bit tailored to people with social media profiles or people that want to have social media profiles. So basically, I will share that now on my screen. How we're doing that. So that's the website there. So we have this sign up form here, which is become a social media warrior. You put in your details and you say which platform you would like to be a social media warrior on. Do you have design skills? That's always a benefit. When you press submit, you'll actually get a follow-up email with all the instructions on how you can join the relevant groups and get in touch. Then I will also have your email, and I will be sending constant emails. For example, I want to show you what one little thing I've been able to accomplish so far with the social media warriors is here. I'm just going to play it for you. It is here.
2022 federal election, as I firmly believe in the right of all Australians to make their own choices about their health.
I'm going to make my vote count in the 2022 federal election because I want Australia to be owned by Australians, and for my children, of course.
I'm going to make my vote count in the 2022 federal elections in Australia because I am sick of major parties abusing their power in Australia, and I say no. Put the major parties last.
I'm going to make my vote count at the 22 federal elections because Australians deserve a government that represents a people, not themselves.
I really want my vote to count this year in the federal elections 2022 in May. And that's in honour of those people that gave their lives for the very freedoms that we have enjoyed and have been taken away from us.
I'm going to make my vote count in the 2022 federal election because I'm sick and tired of Labor and Liberal having the reins of this country. I'm going to put Labor, Liberal, the Greens and the Nationals last for this election. Make sure you put them last on the ballot paper too. Thank you.
As a biologist and as a teacher, I believe that the community is being ripped off with me not being able to be in a classroom to encourage kids to think critically. And I would like to get back into the classroom without a medical procedure being forced upon me.
Authorised by Monica Smith, Reignite Democracy Australia, Melbourne. So that's just a little project that, oh wait, did I stop sharing my screen? Yes, I did. Yeah, that's just a little project that I've done with the social media warriors, and we have about 60 of them so far, and there's going to be a lot more after tonight, I'm sure. But if you sign up to that, I'll send you ideas on how you can have an impact on your own social media. I'll also send you templates for creating your own Facebook pages, your own Instagram, Twitter, etc. And I'll just be giving you ideas, like, for example, you know, yesterday when the news came out that the federal election had the most enrollments ever, you know, I could have sent out an email saying, hey guys, why don't you do a live stream and tell people about the fact that there's so many people who finally value their vote. And then when the polling came out about Labor and Liberal being the lowest ever, you know, I would have sent an email saying, hey, you should tell your audiences that this happened, you know. So you can sign up, and maybe you're not too sure how involved you want to get, but you can sign up and you'll get the emails, and you can do or not do whatever you like. But again, in the email that I'm going to follow up with this from this webinar, I'll send you the link on how you can sign up to be a social media warrior, and we can go from there. And it's going to be great. I think, you know, I can't do much on Facebook. Neither can a lot of people. And I understand that a lot of people hate Facebook. I do too. But unfortunately, that's where a lot of middle Australians are. That's where a lot of people who aren't sure who to vote for are. So it's kind of like a behind enemy lines kind of thing. And I think if we can use it where we need to, I think it can work for us. So that the end of that video is a perfect segue for me to talk about authorization. Now, this is really, really important. And I'll tell you, so anything on Facebook, anything online doesn't need full authorization. It just needs to say authorized by X, the name, authorized by Monica Smith, Melbourne 3000, or authorized by John Smith, Queensland 2000, or I think it's 4000, sorry. So any sort of tile that you make needs to be authorized. I know it's ridiculous, but the AEC are really out to try and get people at the moment. If you have a website, it can just be authorized like that as well. So your name, Melbourne 3000. It doesn't matter whether you're a candidate, whether you're promoting a specific person, you need to authorize everything just to protect yourself. Okay. I know I've already dealt with it with AEC. I didn't realize, I thought that because I wasn't promoting a particular party or person, I didn't need to. I was wrong. And I'm having to rectify that now. I've had to throw out thousands of flyers, which really hurt me to do that. So now with flyers, so there is a difference. Online, you don't have to have a full address on there, but with flyers, you need to have it authorized with a full address. Now, most people wouldn't want to put their home address on there. So you'd want to have, and it can't be a PO box. So you'd want to have a virtual office address, or someone who has a virtual office that you can use. We have one here in Melbourne. So if you have a flyer that you want to print that is something unique that we don't already have covered, then you can email us back. You know the email. I'll send you an email after this. You can reply back with the design, and I will see if we can authorize it for you so that no one gets into any trouble. This is really important. You can get, $100,000 fine or something crazy like that. So we really want to follow the AEC guidelines, no matter whether we agree with them or not, but never before have so many random people been talking about the election. So it's going to be hard to keep track of, but I'm just telling you guys, those are the rules. So when it comes to the social media warriors, if you are making your own tiles and things like that, you just need to authorize them with, your name or someone's name, state and postcode. So that's pretty easy, I think. Now, with obviously you saw the shareable tiles on the volunteer hub for social media warriors to use. So you don't have to sign up to be a social media warrior to start sharing the stuff on your own personal Facebook page. None of the stuff on there is like censorship. They're not going to block you on Facebook for posting those tiles. They're not, COVID related or jab related or anything like that. Now, live streams are really effective, especially even if you only have a Facebook page on your own of 200 of your friends. If those people respect you and like you, and you just talk about how you want to make your vote count, and how the pain that you've been gone through over the last 2 years, it's very, very effective. So I would suggest doing live streams and getting yourself out there. I know it's really hard. I know you can't imagine this, but you know, 2 or 3 years ago, I could not do live streams in public. It made me so embarrassed. I used to have to pretend to like be on FaceTime or something so that people didn't realize I was live streaming, because I didn't want them thinking I was like, thought that, I don't know. Anyway, it was a really hard barrier for me to get through. And if I can help you get through that with that story, that's really good. So start doing live streams, start getting yourself out there, and you'll never go back. It'll make you a much more confident person. And you know, you might get some flack, but that's going to make you a more confident person too. Now, the best thing about Facebook is joining community groups. So if you live in, let's say, Berwick or Narre Warren, and there's, you know, Narre Warren buy swap sale or Narre Warren notice board or whatever, join as many of those types of groups as you can and start sharing stuff in there. Don't share too much or you'll get blocked. But if, you know, once a day, maybe once every 2 days, you share something personal about how you're going to make your vote count, that will be extremely effective. And it's also a great way to grow your page. Now, if you sign up as a social media warrior, you'll get an automated email with instructions on how to open your own Facebook pages, your public and group. Now, I suggest you have a public page and a private group. So the private group, you can bring in your friends and family who also want to be social media warriors. You can post things into the private group and they can then share it out there. The public page is really that everyone can see that, anyone can follow it. So there's all instructions in there. I'm not going to go through it with this Zoom in this webinar because it's all in the automated email. So it's really, really easy for you guys to see. Now, TikTok, oh, by the way, if you open a Facebook page for your area, RDA will help promote it. So once we have enough of these Facebook pages, like I call them People Power. So I've got People Power Pakenham, People Power Melbourne, you know, and you'll see if you sign up as a social media, you'll see the instructions on how to name it. We've also got the profile picture and the cover photo for you, but of course you can create your own as well. You can do whatever you want. But if you want us to promote your Facebook page, whether it's called People Power Suburb or not, just sign up to be a social media warrior and email it to me. And we will create a page on the volunteer hub that has all the Facebook pages so that people within RDA can follow your page. So we're here to help. Like, we've got admin, and we are absolutely here to help. Now, TikTok, I have no idea how to use TikTok. So if there is a young person in the audience tonight listening and you want to help me with TikTok, I would be very grateful. Please sign up to be a social media warrior and we can start. I know that TikTok has a really young audience, and that's why I'm now feeling the age part of my life where I don't know how to use TikTok. So if someone does, then great. Now, I'm not going to go through every social media, but Instagram is really great for photos and for sharing other people's content and for tagging people and things like that. I think Facebook is easier to share things and do live streams on, and TikTok is great for the younger community. Twitter is really, really good for punchy one-liners. I mean, that they get shared the most. So, but anyway, if you sign up to be a social media warrior, we'll go through all of that together. Yes, so I won't go through everything all together. So to be honest, guys, I'm not going to fluff too much because I think we've been through enough. You pretty much now know exactly how to volunteer on your own or how to join a group. Really, that's all I can do for you guys. All I can do is show you the resources and the rest is up to you guys. And it's really interesting because we have these volunteer groups and they're very empowering and beautiful to see the events coming together and stuff like that. But we have no idea how many people are printing these flyers at home and getting involved. It's impossible for us to measure the impact and reach of what we are doing. And it's kind of part of the beauty of it. And I think it's why we get under you know, they don't expect us. I think the element of surprise in this election is definitely our power. After the federal election, they're going to know how effective this campaign was. And, you know, they might put some things in place to try and make us less effective for the Victorian elections and the others, the state elections coming up. But don't worry, you guys know me. I'll keep fighting and I'll keep doing whatever I can for you guys. But yeah, pretty much that's it. I'll send you guys an email with everything I've discussed. And I will just go through some Q&A now, but if you don't want to stay for that, then you're welcome to go. But I just want to reiterate, while I have, you know, 350 people watching here, that even just 350 people, 351 with me, we can actually make a huge difference, even just the 350 of us, honestly. I mean, obviously, I would hope that you would, try to bring a friend or two across to help you or whatever. But even 350 people can change the world. I mean, one person can change the world. So do not, please, for whatever happens, do not underestimate your input, no matter how small or big. Don't compare yourself to what other people can do either, because then you'll just never start at all. So just start really small. Start by talking to one person, then 2 people. And then you start realizing that, oh my gosh, Australians are ready for this message. Then you might go and print stuff and you'll really start gaining confidence. So don't let expectations stop you from starting. Don't expect that you're going to be at the polling booth every day from pre-poll up to election. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just start somewhere small. Start saying, put the majors last at the shopping centers. Start saying it to your colleagues. Start talking to your friends. Start talking to your school mums and dads. Start talking to your 18-year-old friend, your 18-year-old kids to talk to their friends. Anyway, look, I don't want to harp on about it, but the point is, we have a chance, but we have 4 weeks. So there's no more mucking around. This is all I'm doing. We're going on tour soon, and it's all make your vote count. And it's going to be brilliant. I can't wait to get and see. Now with the church communities that I'm going to see, it's not about Morgan and I's campaign at all. It's about the Make Your Vote Count campaign. So I just want to get to church groups and youth groups to just teach kids and adults how to make their vote count. So if you want me to come to one of those events, I'd love you to. I'd love to come. So I'm going to go through a few Q&As now if people want to do that. I did see one question at the top there about can you put flyers into no junk mail? Yes, you absolutely can. We're not selling anything, and it's also election time. But if you're not selling anything, or then you're allowed to put it in a no junk mail letterbox. I mean, I get some abusive letters back in the mail because of them, but it's totally worth it. And I've had the No Junk Mail Authority, another useless government authority that steals our tax money and probably does hardly anything. They contacted me and tried to threaten me on something to do with no junk mail. And I told them, well, actually, I think I'm allowed to because of X, Y, and Z. And they never got back to me. So yes, you can. Will you have a replay for everyone? Yes, I will. It's on YouTube already. Love you, Erg. Here's hoping we can shake it up. Absolutely. Quick smart. All right. I'm waiting for questions now. I ordered the flyers on Monday this week. Well, they definitely are coming. They're coming. I know your name, and that they're definitely ordered. So don't worry about that. Coming up closer to the election, if you're ordering bulk flyers, I will ask the printer if they can do these flyers urgently, because it's pretty urgent now. But yeah, they've definitely been ordered, just so you know. With all the links to click on, my Telegram doesn't seem to give it to me. If you go on the website, guys, it's really everything is there. We need training how to be effective scrutineers. Well, I don't actually know the answers to that. So that will come. So we've got pre-polling scheduling, we've got election day scheduling, and then there'll be scrutineer scheduling. And the last information I heard is that you do not need to be double jabbed to be a scrutineer. I will get some expert scrutineers to give you guys some training on scrutineering, because we're really going to need that as well. What is the criteria for proper authorization of flyers? I don't know if this question was before or after I explained it, but just quickly, online, you could just use your name, your suburb and postcode, or your city and postcode, like Monica Smith, Melbourne 3000. So you could just say John Anglico, Melbourne 3000. If it's online, if it's printed, you're going to need a full address. So if you have a flyer that you want authorized, please send it to me, send it to my admin team, and we will review it and authorize it if we can. I've just made my PP Sunshine Ghost group. Do I make my own description? I'm already signed up. Oh, awesome. Well, Kim, I did actually put an example of a description in the social media automated email. So maybe just check that out. You can make up your own as well, of course. Is there any way to put in different languages as well? Yeah, that would be great. I can't see myself having the resources to do that, to be honest. But if you would like to translate a flyer and send it to me, of course, I will promote it, of course. I'm in a small part of Melbourne, Mornington Peninsula. What would you suggest? is the best strategy for me to help? We have a massive group in Mornington. So if you want to get involved in Mornington, yeah, there's plenty of opportunities for you to do that. So if you can reply back to the email I send tonight, and I'll make sure you get in touch with that. Should we complete ballots in pen? Definitely. I'm not suggesting that there would be fraud with pencil, but it is just safer to use pen. And by the way, the fact that they have pencils is really more of a practical thing, because pencils don't go off, they don't run out of ink, and they can be stored for years on end. So I think that's probably why they have pencil, but I'm going to use pen for sure. I need to leave a bit early. Sure, no worries. Can we go to the, okay, I'm just going to go down to the bottom now and see if there's any questions. Black or blue pen for ballots? I would use black, but I don't think it matters. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't use like, you know, one of those silly kids colors pens. Just black or blue is absolutely fine. Many involved in the Gold Coast, I'm hearing, will absolutely. If you sign up to be a volunteer, you'll get an automated email with all the email addresses for your state's coordinators, and the Gold Coast is extremely, extremely active. So you should definitely get involved. Definitely get involved in the Gold Coast, or of course, create your own group and do it yourself. Would like to scrutineer. Great. Well, hold on for that. I guess we're kind of doing things as a progression, you know, like priority wise. So at the moment, the flyers, the events, getting out into the public, that's the key right now. Then of course we'll go to pre-polling, then we'll go to polling day, and then we'll go to scrutineering. So don't worry, we'll get to the scrutineering part. Are there groups in Newcastle? Yeah, absolutely there are. Absolutely there are. I went to order flyers, but the link under the preferential tab button doesn't work. It put me off ordering. Oh no, that's changed now, Alexandra. Basically one of the QR codes went to Topher Field's YouTube video, which got taken off YouTube. We have now upgraded the flyer with a Rumble link so that can't happen. So they definitely work now, I promise. Monica, the volunteers in northeast Melbourne. Yeah, definitely. We got tons. Do you have to write 1 and 7 in a certain way? Definitely, I would write 1 with the top and tail, and I would put a line through the 7. Absolutely, I would do that. Is it okay to pin leaflets on supermarket notice boards? Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, of course it is. What about the seat of Caldwell? I'm not sure where Caldwell is, but look, if you want to join a group, you now know how to do that. So that's cool. I'm in NQ. Is there a training video on how to teach people how to vote at youth groups? So I haven't done the youth group event yet, but when I do it, I will film it and I will put it online, and I will add it to the volunteer hub for you guys. So don't worry about that. There is no junk mail authority. We really, yeah, I know. Donations for flyers, etc., are expensive. How could, yeah. Oh, you've already donated a lot, but I'm actually putting a specific volunteer tab for the campaign up. But you know, RDA, just while you guys are on here, yeah, we're struggling at the moment a lot. So we can't do anything more than what we're doing. And yeah, it's a problem. You know, we're trying to find ways to, you know, come up with some fundraising ideas, but, you know, a lot of people are out of jobs, and it's just getting hard for people. But, you know, I'll put that link up for the fundraising soon, and it'll be spent very wisely, as everything is. Gab, I don't really know Gab that well. If you know Gab, you should go for it. Also interested in scrutineering. Great. Are these groups in Townsville? Probably, definitely. How does the PML tool determine the order of minor parties on your how to vote card, given it also asks one survey questions? But yeah, well, okay, so with the PML, from what I understand, is you ask, it gives you an example of your how to vote card, but then you can move them around. And so, of course, the RDA survey has a lot more information about the candidates. So you can have a look at the PML, the Put Majors Last how to vote card, and then you can go to the RDA survey and then decide how you want to, you know, put people in place. So it'll give you an example and you can play around with it from then. Can you put leaflets on cars? It would be considered littering if you put leaflets on cars, just letting you know. Can you put how to use Telegram? Well, I can't really go through how to use it here, but maybe if you can find a young family member to help you, that would be great. If printing from the website, do they have to be authorized? They're already authorized on the website, Marge. So if you're printing from the website, they're already authorized. So don't worry about that. It's only if you're printing your own or creating your own. Northwest Melbourne group. Yeah, there would be for sure. I missed the first 30 minutes. How do I volunteer? I'm not, there'll be a replay for you, Kobe. There is a replay. It's on YouTube. Thanks for really amazing. Oh, thank you very much. I'm in Cunningham. I've registered to be a foot soldier and have not heard from anyone yet. Do you have a team leaders in this electorate yet? Lucia, if you could use the email, I'm going to send all the email addresses for the different state coordinators after this webinar or in the morning. Either way, I'm pretty tired now. But you can actually email them directly. And then what happened? Ah, bugger. Hang on. That's all right. I'm still here. I just have to change to my my camera just ran out of battery. So I just had to change to my webcam. How do we connect with like-minded volunteers in our own area? Lincoln, there's a lot of ways, you know, on the RDA website under community, you can join a group. There's also events every weekend all over the country. So if you go to the community tab on the RDA website, you'll see events there, and you can go to an event and meet people that way. That's a really good way to do it. Info about volunteer scrutineering. Thanks for that, mate. Bumper sticker for cars. Yes, we do have some bumper car stickers already. They're not authorized on the website, but we are adding a sticker to every sticker before we send them now. So they're going to be authorized. So that's all right. Is there an RDA Telegram channel? Of course there is. There's just Reignite Democracy Australia channel, but there's a specific volunteer channel as well. So I will put all of that in the email after this webinar. So don't worry about that. Telegram questing person, they are messaging me. I'm not sure what that's about. I can't see authorization on the flyers from the website. I have the barcode, and that is it of the small flyers, 4 to a page. Are these still okay to use? Let's just have a look, because I really thought I changed all that. Let's have a look together. Flyers you can print yourself. Let's have a look. Pretty sure I changed all of them. See at the bottom here, it has authorized by Monica Smith, authorized by Monica Smith. Let's just click on them and make sure, make sure they're the right ones. That would be bad. Yep, that's right. And the other one is here. Yep, that's got authorized on it as well. So yeah, these have authorized on them, and this one has authorized on the front page here. So no, I think they're fine. Sorry about that. Okay, links. The ones I have must have been printed before you changed it. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I had to throw out some too. Senate voting training is coming up. Liz is doing that. Joyce said that someone can bring her to ask to help with Telegram. That's really, really kind of you. I don't know how to share details between you guys, but I can't find the events button on the RDA website. All right, I will show you. Look, the RDA website can be a little bit confusing. I get it. So under community, events. That's where it is. See, 20th, 23rd, 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 23rd. My goodness, 23rd, 24th, 24th. Wow, that's incredible. I didn't even know there was that many. Oh, they're just, everyone is just doing such a great job. Can majors be left off altogether? Kim, they can on the lower house ticket, you have to number every box. So as much as it's going to hurt you to, you have to number them, just number them last. In the Senate, you can leave them off altogether because you only have to vote 1 to 6 above the line. So that's my pretty simple explanation. If you missed the first half of it, Bruce, don't worry, there's a replay on YouTube. So just go to Reignite Democracy Australia YouTube channel and it will be there. I'm on Telegram, but only 22 members, so no reach. That's all right, Teresa. You got to start somewhere, right? Telegram is hard to get reach. It's really easier on Facebook and stuff because Telegram is really it's hard to share things and get more likes and stuff like that. But if you're planning a community group on Telegram, RDA can promote it for you. So if you just reply back, we'll definitely be able to help you. All right. Can people just use a stamp or sticker to add to the authorized message if they already printed the old flyers? Yes, you could, but if you printed hundreds, like thousands, it's going to be a pain in the you know what to add an authorization to each one, and it has to be printed. It can't be handwritten. But if you can and you want to get a little labor sticker and have the authorization, then you can definitely put that on there and it will be fine. Instead of throwing out the flyers, you could stick on the authorization. That's right. That's what we've done for the bumper car stickers. There is a big Vietnamese community around my area. I can ask a neighbor to translate how to vote. Yeah, that'll be great. Smaller green ballot, all boxes. Actually, Facebook is bullying me. Yeah, I know how that feels. Actually, while I've still got you guys here, I will show you like the new flyer in more detail because it's on the website as well. And this really does explain to you how to vote. So Kim and anyone else asking, this is now on the MYVC website. So you can just have a look at it. And, you know, the way that you get there is you just, from the home page, you go voting tips, easy. And you're there. And on that page, you've got all the candidates on there. You've got some other tips here and you've got the ballot papers there. So that's really easy. I'll just go back to the Q&A. To make a vote count, won't it be better to number all the boxes in the Senate ballot paper? Look, you can definitely number 1 to 6 and above. You can number all the boxes if you want. But I think I think that's okay for people like us who are more informed now about how to vote. But for the general public, I think 1 to 6 above the line is as best as we're going to get. If we start telling people to number every box, they'll get overwhelmed and just kind of not listen to us, I think. You don't vote below and above. No, you cannot vote below and above. It won't count. Oh, thank you for that, Jacqueline. I will write a note of that right now. And remember, this event page that I showed you guys, it's always updating all the time, even when there's no election, you know. Hundreds of flyers, you can just feed them through the printer again and print. Oh, if you've already printed hundreds of flyers, you can just feed them through the printer again and print the authorization over the top at the bottom. I did that. Photoshop is handy though. Wow, that's really cool, Captain Bro. Not all the candidates are displayed when I looked last night for my electorate. No, Tracy, I mean, they're not all going to fill it out. Obviously, like Labor and Greens and Liberals probably aren't going to fill out an RDA survey. But now that it's being promoted, I've had like 15 fill it in today from Lib Dems, Liberal Democrats and One Nation and UAP. So now that it's getting some traction, you'll notice a lot more people filling out the survey. So it'll just get bigger and bigger. So just keep going back to it. Can we just download and share via social media the flyers if we aren't able to? Of course, Kim. What a great idea. Thank you. I will put the flyers onto the downloadable social media tires page onto. Good idea. Of course you can. Of course you can. The link is still the old YouTube one on this page. Yeah, yes, I need to fix that, Alexandra. Yeah, oh, well, yes, but the QR code on the actual flyer goes to the right video, but I do need to fix the video in the, yeah, I do. I'm going to write that down. It's really hard to keep up with all this stuff. Wide Bay, Monica, do you know where pre-polling starts? Apparently 9th of May is when pre-polling starts. So we're going to start scheduling really soon. Kate Johnson, Wide Bay, I'm not sure. If you don't have a team leader, there is a general Facebook group or a Telegram group. You can so if for any stray aways that haven't been able to find a group, I have a big group that I'm communicating directly to. So in the email following on from this this call, you will get the links to all that. Thanks, Stephen. Don't forget you can have redirectable links for your QR codes. Yeah, I know. I need to look into that, Gil. Meant to be for Stephen Grant, UAP for Sturt SA. Meant to. Yeah, Stuart Grant is a candidate, UAP candidate, I believe. So if you're saying that there was a mistake on your survey or something, just email me. Thanks, Alexandra. Only one person has filled in this. Only one person, Kate. Well, what state? What? That's. I mean, if it's an electorate, I mean, electorates are small. Sometimes, yeah, that if there's only one Freedom candidate in your electorate, there might only be one Freedom candidate in your electorate, unfortunately. That's the problem. You know, we don't have sometimes enough, but just wait until nomination day. You might find that there's more. And even some candidates from some good parties might not be bothered to fill out the RDA survey. They might not think that it has enough value or something like that. But don't worry, with the PML website coming and everything like that, you know, just you wait. There's going to be a jam-packed full 4 weeks of, you know, information. Oh, I was looking at my camera, forgetting that my camera's not on. I need to look at this camera. All right, guys. Well, the questions are starting to slow down. So I'm going to, when do nominations have to be in? Tomorrow, close of business. That's why Morgan and I did ours today, and we have been officially nominated. So that's pretty exciting. All right, guys. I can't believe there's still 263 people listening to me ranting. Wow. Is it true the UAP are giving their preferences to the Libs? See, it's questions like this that are interesting because, and that's why I want to do the Q&A, you know, for voting next week, because parties in the federal election cannot give your preferences away to anyone. The only way that they preference someone is when they print their how to vote cards and they're standing at the polling booth and they're handing out the how to vote cards. The order of how they put together their how to vote cards is really the only way that they can preference them. So even if UAP, for example, did that, put Libs second, which they're not, by the way, they're putting the Liberal Democrats second, and then One Nation, I believe, or something like that. Even if they tell you to do something on their how to vote cards, doesn't mean that you have to do that. You choose your own preferences. You absolutely choose exactly where your vote goes, which is good. How do we get events onto the event list? Tina, you just email me, email us, email back the Make Your Vote Count email, and we'll sort it out for you. Like I have a team, I have one dedicated staff member to putting these events on and emailing the local area. So we'll actually email the local area and you can create a group from that event. You know, you can start a Telegram page or whatever. And this group can last past the election. So we can help you create a group. You can become an RDA community group and we'll help you promote it and, you know, get those people to you. He also advised that for every one independent vote, the major parties need 2 to counter the 1 independent. Have you heard of this? Oh, so voting independents. Yeah, wow, that's really interesting. That's great. What are your thoughts in asking major party candidates to fill in the survey? I have a contact for the person who scouted the Lib candidate in my electorate. Look, Thomas, that's fine. We've actually had an animal justice candidate fill out the survey in Tasmania, and you know, they're welcome to fill it in. I'm not going to like highlight them or promote them, but it's actually good that they fill it in because then we can see the contrast of the types of people that are in their electorate. So yes, you can absolutely send it to candidates from major parties if you like to. Doesn't mean I'm going to promote them, but they're allowed to do it. Is One Nation the best option we have outside of the majors? I think they're a great option. I don't really have an opinion on what the best option is. I think One Nation, UAP, Australia Federation Party, Lib Dems, they really attract different audiences. And I think they're all better than the majors. So I think that's one thing. Yes, exactly. UAP have come out and said that they're going to put the majors last. Yes, they have. Your answer is correct, Steve. Absolutely not. Okay. I vote for Morgan. Thanks, mate. But if you vote for Morgan, you're kind of voting for me too. So Monica, you and your staff are doing, thank you. The staff are amazing. I don't know how I wouldn't be able to survive without them. And by the way, I have like, they've all stuck with me the whole time through prison and everything. I don't understand how to vote above the line with 6 candidates or more if there is only one freedom candidate in my oh, well, this is a great question, Laura, because so the Senate paper is for the senators in your state. It's the same for everyone in the state. So absolutely, there will be enough freedom parties or independent groups to vote for so that you can leave the major parties off 1 to 6. Absolutely. You've got UAP, Australia Federation, LDP, One Nation, an independent group like Morgan and I don't know what state you're in. So there'll definitely be 6 parties, 1 to 6 above the line that you can vote for and not put the majors in at all. So because the Senate paper is different than the lower house paper. The lower house paper might not have 6, might only have 2 or 3 freedom friendly candidates in it, and you have to number every box. So you put those first and then you have to just begrudgingly number the others. But I was looking at the camera again, but in the Senate paper, it's going to be really long. The Senate paper is really, really long. So, there's definitely going to be enough parties for you to choose from. Don't worry. And don't worry, if you have questions like that, just keep an eye on my page. I promise you, I'm going to do more and more education. You're going to know absolutely everything. You're going to be sick of it. You're going to be sick of the voting education by the end of everything. Can you tell what it's like in jail? Bob, it's probably not the right time for me to talk about that, but it was actually a break, to be honest. Number all boxes above the line. I've been advised by an ex-senator to number all the boxes above the line for the Senate to keep your vote live till the end. He advised if your first 6 counts don't get enough vote, then your vote ends up with the last choice. Is that correct? I've heard that too. And I think for people like us, I think voting every box is really a great idea. But I think going out to the public with that, I just think that that's going to be counterproductive. Even if it is the best thing to do, if you tell someone to number every box, they're going to get overwhelmed and they're probably going to walk away. So that's just my personal opinion. But if you hit the streets and you can find a way to tell people to number every box above the line and for them not to freak out, then go for it. There is nothing in... If there's nothing in your area, then, you can create your own group. Elections are won by preferences only, and that's why it is termed preferential voting. This keeps the major parties in power every election. Well, it used to keep them in power, but that's because no one knew what the heck they were doing, and now they do. When you say your page, what do you mean? Facebook? Yeah, if you have a Facebook page, an Instagram page, whatever you have, personal page. Geez, I wish you and Morgan all the best in the election. Thank you so much. All your team doing a wonderful job, praying the major parties get a huge... All right, I'm going to finish now because actually I'm on a 2-day, on the second day of my fast because, Easter and too much pigging out. So I'm pretty tired, guys. It's been a big day getting nominated and all that and doing this. And I'm really glad I did it, but I'm going to call it a night now. And the replay is going to be on YouTube. So if you want to send it to a friend or anything like that, I'm going to cut out probably the Q&A part because it kind of drags on a little bit. Or maybe I not, maybe I won't because people can watch it if they want to. But really the first 30 minutes is like the crucial part. And remember, you don't need a group. You can do it yourself. Create your own group. RDA will help you. If you have an event, we'll promote it for you. Just get in touch with us. All right, guys. We're going to make a huge impact. Next week, Q&A session. I'm also doing community events at churches and things like that. So if you know a church that can put that together, remember it's nonpartisan. So that's how they get around the whole church and politics thing. So, all right, guys, I'm done now. Have a lovely evening. Thanks for being here. Let's kick some... I don't know how to say that nicely. I think you know what I mean. Thank you, everyone. Bye. Authorised by Monica Smith, Reignite Democracy Australia, Melbourne.